Your Highness, Your Excellencies, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Good morning to you all and welcome to Dubai. For many of us, this is our second home. So Happy New Year to United Arab Emirates. We just celebrated ours and we're very proud of you. The achievement in Dubai, in United Arab Emirates, is something that we are all very proud of. Well done, and we wish you prosperity, peace, and progress for another 48 years and beyond. First of all, GPCA, thank you very much for inviting me here. I must congratulate you. This is my first involvement in this conference. And as I said, I was too busy with the other one. I must congratulate you, the Secretariat, for all this organization. I know there's a lot of hard work behind it. The organization is excellent. The ability to attract this diverse audience is really something you should be proud of. And I'm really humbled to be asked to give inaugural speech to such an audience. So thank you very much. As I said, being one of the longest serving minister, we don't just think about having another one. But there's a danger or a risk of telling you things that you already know, because we tend to forget what we said last year or a year before last. Actually, I forget what I said last month. And of course, nowadays, nobody is interested to know what the oil ministers particularly think about the future oil price. We get it wrong all the time. And we keep on predicting all the time. And we keep on getting it wrong again. But this is another subject. Maybe I'll be invited for another conference to discuss oil price. Perhaps this is the beauty of downstream industries. While there are many correlations between crude oil price and prediction of future trends in petrochemical, the discussion tends to be low-key. You keep it to yourself, unlike our partners or the other one. We make it open, and the budget, especially in this part of the world, by this time of the year, every journalist asks us, so what is your budget based on for next year's planning? And you'll hear a number thrown from Oman to Kuwait with a variation of at least plus minus 10%. And that really shows that this is not an exact science, predicting and planning for future oil prices. It's extremely difficult or impossible task, but we have to use a number. Our income still depends very much on the oil income, unfortunately. So unlike the other half, the upstream, there's an obsession of predicting tomorrow's prices today. Therefore, I'm going to ask a few questions, and some of the observation mainly focused in our region, particularly for the downstream industry. And no more discussion of these two, and I will not mention the other one, if you know what I mean. So let's get serious and ask some questions for all of us to think about. My first question to all of us here, me included, are we still relevant? There are increasing pressure in the regional governments to pursue diversification strategies away from oil. And we've been thinking about this for the last 40, 50 years. And we keep on planning. And I think we have not achieved our long-term ambition of staying away from oil economy to non-oil economy. And I think the reason, we shouldn't be too difficult or too harsh on ourselves, because our oil economists, all of us, have simply been too successful. So this is like a marathon runner. We want to replace the front runner, but he keeps on running faster and faster and faster. We are running faster, we in the oil and gas industry. We should be proud of ourselves. Those who are behind us in our economy are running fast, so we have to give them credit, but they are finding it difficult to catch us. And that must be something that we should be proud of. Regional governments lost almost 50% of its revenue after the 2014 oil price decline. And they are trying to learn from that, because oil constitutes nearly 70% or more of overall revenue in most cases. You know what? I've been having difficult reading. I just realized I haven't put my glasses on. This is the problem of being an oldest-serving minister. Oh, now it's clear. And this is all plastic. So, is petrochemical sector growing, or is it a dying business? And how is the petrochemical industry positioning itself to be part of the solution? I'm an optimist, like most of you, I'm sure. With all the diversification initiatives, I still think the oil and gas, and in particular petrochemical, will continue to be a growth driver in the region. And part of this diversification, we are investing around 28 billion in the next 5 to 7 years. This is just the smallest member of this petrochemical club, Oman. And with our friends and neighbor in the GCC, similar and bigger investments are also in the pipeline, as you all know. Now, our industry is not short of challenges. Let me mention few of these challenges that has already been mentioned by the previous speaker here. For example, the geopolitics and trade wars. I don't want to dwell too much on this. It's in the news every day. United States-China trade war, the nationalistic policies that is spreading all over the world. Brexit. What is the impact of all this, for example? I think it is fair to say that with all the talk of globalization, our industry, at least from our point of view, is more sensitive to what is going on away from our shores. Petrochemical industry is global dependent, if you like, than many of other industries. We rely on markets which are farther from us. The other challenge, and also has been mentioned, is the cyclic nature of our business. Market cycles are becoming more volatile for refining and petrochemical. So how is our company prepared for the cycles? How is your company prepared for the cycles? Are you ready? Are we ready for a rocky future? Companies are addressing all these issues in different ways. If you ask 5 companies on how they prepare for these challenges, I bet you're going to get at least 5 answers. However, the key, as was mentioned earlier, is the agility building efficiency, and taking full advantage of technology. Another angle to this is restructuring and integration. Again, it was mentioned earlier. I believe we have been rather slow in the region on this front. However, we can see increasing focus now. I understand there is a dedicated session tomorrow on this topic, where our own Mus'ab al-Mahrouqi, our CEO of Oman Oil, ORPIC, will be providing our story in Oman on our recent integration of upstream, midstream, and downstream. We are working to lead more efforts to restructure the whole of oil and gas sector in Oman. The next question is the mega trends. There's an electric car, mobility, transportation, renewable, changes in energy sphere. How can we integrate all these themes into our future? How do they feature into our plans? And to make it more complicated, there is an environmental angle in all this discussion. And the most difficult one, which was also mentioned in the earlier video today, what are we doing about the war on plastic? What is the definition of plastic? We are closely associated with the plastic crisis. Our industry is up there in the front row of the guilty ones behind the plastic war. I'm sure all of the audience in this room think it is an unfair war against us. However, that doesn't stop it. Once we get out of these walls, the issue is in front of us. We are guilty of polluting the seas with our plastic bags. And they think petrochemical is all about producing plastic bags. They forget that the cars we drive is, 10, 20, 30% plastic. And the electric cars, supposedly, will have a bigger part of it will be plastic, more than the conventional one. So increasingly, consumer sentiments and environmental lobbies are driving a lot of new regulations all over the world. What are we doing to focus attention on behavior and ways of disposal, recycling, circular economy topics? Are we doing enough? Are we doing enough research to address these topics? Or we are busy trying to innovate new products and forgetting to innovate old problems? These are big topics that individual players are required to make a move on. However, we may not be able to tackle alone. We need to collaborate, as was mentioned earlier, and on all these topics. GPCA and similar forums could be good forum for such collaboration. And most of these challenges are not profit makers, but they are trouble makers. The other opportunity, actually, that I like to mention, and again it was mentioned before, is technological opportunity, or opportunity on the technology front. On the brighter side, I think technology will come to our rescue, as it has done in the past. Recently, we visited China with our colleagues, and we saw the focus over there is artificial intelligence. And honestly, I was very impressed by the amount of technological progress and how fast and rapid these technologies are changing. And they're going to get into our shows and into our businesses. And who knows, maybe in few years, you may be blessed by having a robot minister of energy who will not forget to put his glasses on. talking about artificial intelligence. Now, where are we on the technological front? And are you giving the attention it deserves? We are already seeing some success stories in terms of digitalization. I think there's still huge untapped potential to help in bringing efficiency and enhance customer experience. The other aspect of technology is related to people and talents. And I think we have some nearly 50 students from Oman, and I assume from other universities in the region taking part in this forum, just to see what's going on outside the campuses. And that must be a good thing, because sometimes university campuses are so isolated from industry. So to have them here is very good initiatives. Whoever come with that idea, I salute you. Because actually the question is, are we able to compete for talent in the future? Can we interest our younger generation in our industry? I promised earlier that I'm not going to talk about my second one. Actually, he's number one, the upstream. But we are having problems worldwide in attracting younger generation into our upstream. And we blame the negative publicity that our industry is getting. Anything that starts with O and there's an I and L in it is seen as a dirty industry. So in petrochemical, are we really working enough to attract our younger talents to join us and replace us, hopefully? The sector is a big recruiter, definitely. If we look at the demographics, more than 50% of our employees are what they call millennials. I'm not one of them. For some time, companies were able to throw in more dollars or more money, more cash to attract people. It was money-driven approach or poach of talents from the next door neighbor particularly. The petrochemicals still have a big role to play going forward in this particular part of the world, as there's a huge potential for investment in the downstream. There are many mega projects planned in the GCC. These are challenging yet exciting times for the developers, contractors, technology providers, and advisors. These projects will compete for talents, and we need to ensure we're able to attract good talents and develop them fast. Our sector will continue to be challenged with mega trends. War on plastic may not end soon. Industry needs to take leadership role in environmental agenda. Denial is not a solution. We need to be aware of mega trends and ready to lead under different scenarios. I hope the gas interconnector in the GCC will see the light soon. This will be fueled by the hunger of the industry to make it happen, to open up the market and foster more investment. Last, I want to reiterate my gratitude to Dr. Yusuf Al-Banyan and Dr. Abdul Wahab Al-Sadoun for the GPCA's invitation, and I'm sure under their leadership, the association will prosper and achieve its objectives. I thank you all for your attention, and I wish you a successful conference. Thank you.